KHAB 17, HSE Global Safety Leader Professional Training Academy. Module 8, HSE Leadership, Site Coordination and Career Preparation. Part 1, Opening Plus Section 1, NEBOSH IGC and IOSH Managing Safely Aligned. Module 8, Introduction. Welcome to KHAB 17, HSE Global Safety Leader Professional Training Academy. This Module 8 aligns with NEBOSH International General Certificate and IOSH Managing Safely Principles. Congratulations on reaching this stage of your HSE development journey. Throughout the previous modules, you have learned how to identify hazards, assess risks, understand permits to work, participate in incident reporting, conduct inspections, and apply safe systems of work. Those skills are important. However, organizations do not promote individuals into supervisory HSE positions simply because they understand procedures. Organizations promote people who can influence behavior, communicate effectively, coordinate teams, and lead safety performance. That is the purpose of this module. Today we move beyond technical safety knowledge and focus on leadership, coordination, communication, and career preparation. These are the competencies expected from HSE assistants, safety supervisors, junior HSE officers, site coordinators, and future HSE managers. By the end of this module, you should be able to demonstrate professional HSE conduct, communicate effectively with workers and management, deliver site inductions confidently, coordinate contractors and visitors safely, support emergency response activities, prepare for HSE job interviews, understand professional career pathways. Most workplace incidents are not caused by lack of procedures. They are caused by failures in communication, supervision, leadership, and coordination. This is why ISO 45001:2018 Clause 5.1 places significant emphasis on leadership and commitment. A successful HSE professional is not merely someone who understands regulations. A successful HSE professional is someone who can influence people to follow them. Emphasis. Technical knowledge keeps you employable. Leadership skills make you promotable. Let us begin. Section 1. Safety Leadership and Professional Conduct. Learning Objective. By the end of this section, learners should be able to demonstrate professional HSE behavior, communicate effectively, apply ethical decision-making, manage workforce interactions professionally, and influence safe behaviors without creating conflict. Part 1A, Leading by Example. Let us begin with one of the most important concepts in professional safety management, leading by example. Many people believe leadership comes from position. In reality, leadership comes from behavior. A supervisor may have authority. An HSE officer may have responsibility. But workers observe actions before they listen to instructions. This principle is strongly reflected throughout NEBOSH leadership discussions and ISO 45001 Clause 5.1 on leadership and commitment. If an HSE officer instructs workers to wear PPE while personally ignoring safety glasses, credibility disappears immediately. If management demands housekeeping standards while their own work areas remain disorganized, workers notice. People do not follow what leaders say. People follow what leaders do. Visible commitment is one of the strongest indicators of leadership. Visible commitment includes arriving prepared, following procedures, participating in inspections, stopping unsafe work, wearing correct PPE, participating in toolbox talks, asking safety questions, recognizing positive behavior. Workers notice these actions every day. Leadership is demonstrated through consistency, not speeches. Real site example. During a refinery turnaround project, management introduced a mandatory chin strap policy. Many workers initially resisted. However, project managers, engineers, supervisors, and HSE personnel all complied visibly every day. Within 2 weeks, compliance exceeded 95%. No disciplinary campaign was needed. Leadership behavior influenced workforce behavior. Common mistake. New HSE officers sometimes believe authority comes from issuing instructions. Authority actually comes from professional consistency. Workers respect what they repeatedly observe, not what they occasionally hear. Part 1B. Professional communication. One of the most valuable skills an HSE professional can develop is communication. IOSH managing safely recognizes communication failures as a significant contributor to workplace incidents. Communication is not simply speaking. Communication involves sending information, receiving information, confirming understanding. Many incidents occur because workers hear instructions but interpret them differently. Consider this example. A supervisor says, "Be careful around the excavation." Different workers may interpret that instruction differently. However, if the supervisor says, "Maintain a minimum distance of 1 meter from the excavation edge and remain behind the barricades," the instruction becomes clear. Professional communication should always be specific, simple, consistent, verifiable, active listening. Communication is a two-way process. Effective leaders listen actively. Active listening means maintaining eye contact, allowing the speaker to finish, clarifying uncertain information, repeating critical information, confirming understanding. For example, worker, "The scaffold feels unstable." Poor response, "Just continue working." Professional response, "Tell me exactly which section feels unstable. When did you notice it? Has anyone inspected it today?" Notice the difference. The second response gathers information. The first response ignores risk. Body language. Research consistently demonstrates that body language influences communication outcomes. An HSE officer standing aggressively with crossed arms may unintentionally create resistance. A calm posture, open stance, and professional tone encourage cooperation. Remember, communication is not only what you say. Communication is how you say it. Real site example. During a shutdown project, a worker reported unusual vibration on a platform. The supervisor listened carefully and escalated the concern. Inspection identified a structural support issue. Because communication was encouraged, a potentially serious incident was prevented. Common mistake. Assuming workers understood instructions simply because they nodded. Always verify understanding. Part 1C. Ethics and integrity. Ethics refers to doing the right thing even when nobody is watching. Integrity means maintaining honesty and consistency in professional decisions. HSE professionals frequently face situations requiring ethical judgment. Examples include incomplete inspections, unreported incidents, pressure to meet deadlines, attempts to hide nonconformances, falsified documentation. Professional integrity requires objective reporting, regardless of pressure, regardless of consequences, regardless of who is involved. An HSE professional serves as a guardian of truth, not as a protector of statistics. Confidentiality. Some information must remain confidential. Examples include medical information, investigation interviews, personal employee records, confidential business information. Sharing sensitive information inappropriately damages trust and may violate company policies. Conflict of interest. A conflict of interest occurs when personal interests interfere with professional responsibilities. For example, approving an inspection for a close friend despite known deficiencies, ignoring violations because of personal relationships, accepting gifts that influence decisions. Professional ethics requires impartial judgment. Real site example. A contractor attempted to continue work using an expired lifting certificate. The HSE officer halted operations despite significant schedule pressure. Subsequent inspection revealed defects in the equipment. The decision prevented potential equipment failure. That is integrity. Common mistake. Confusing loyalty to individuals with loyalty to safety. Professional loyalty must always prioritize worker protection. Part 1D. Discipline and fair enforcement. Discipline within safety management does not mean punishment. Discipline means consistency. Workers become frustrated when rules are enforced selectively. Imagine two workers committing the same violation. One receives correction. The other is ignored. This creates perceptions of unfairness. Fair enforcement requires consistency, documentation, objectivity, respect, professionalism. The goal of discipline is behavior improvement. Not humiliation. Not confrontation. Not power. Progressive intervention. Professional intervention often follows a progressive approach. Observation, discussion, coaching, documentation, formal escalation if necessary. The objective is correction before punishment becomes necessary. Real site example. A worker repeatedly failed to use hearing protection. Instead of immediately issuing discipline, supervisors investigated. They discovered discomfort caused by the incorrect earplug size. After replacement, compliance improved significantly. The issue was not attitude. The issue was equipment suitability.
Common mistake.
Focusing on punishment before understanding causes. Always investigate before assuming intent. Part 1E. Multicultural workforce management. Construction and oil and gas projects often involve multinational workforces. Workers may speak different languages, possess different educational backgrounds, have different cultural expectations. This diversity creates strengths, but it also creates communication challenges. ILO Convention C-155 emphasizes worker participation and communication, regardless of nationality. Professional HSE personnel must ensure safety information is understood by everyone, not just by English speakers. Communication solutions. Use visual aids,
Pictograms.
demonstrations, translated materials, bilingual supervisors, hands-on demonstrations, verification questions. Never assume understanding. Always confirm understanding. Cultural sensitivity. Professional respect is essential. Avoid stereotypes. Avoid assumptions. Treat all workers equally. A respectful environment improves reporting, participation, and safety culture. Real site example. During a large LNG construction project, multilingual safety posters and translated toolbox talks significantly improved reporting rates among subcontractors. Communication increased because understanding increased. Common mistake. Mistaking silence for understanding. Sometimes workers remain silent because they are unsure. Create opportunities for questions. Part 1F. Confidence without aggression. Many new HSE officers struggle with confidence. Some become too passive. Others become overly aggressive. Neither approach is effective. Professional safety leadership requires assertiveness. Assertiveness means expressing concerns clearly, respectfully, and confidently. Aggression involves intimidation. Passivity involves avoidance. Assertiveness sits between the two. Example. Passive. Maybe you should wear your harness if possible. Aggressive. Wear your harness now or get off my site. Assertive. Working without fall protection violates site requirements. Stop work immediately and reconnect your harness before continuing. The message is clear. The tone remains professional. That is effective leadership. Practical activity. Role-play scenarios. Scenario 1. Worker confrontation. Worker. Why are you always checking my work? HSE officer. I understand your concern. My responsibility is to verify that work remains safe for everyone involved. Let us review the task together and ensure all controls remain effective. Narrator coaching note. Remain calm. Do not become defensive. Focus on safety, not personality. Scenario 2. Unsafe act correction. The worker observed climbing the scaffold without maintaining three-point contact. HSE officer. Please stop for a moment. I observed you climbing without maintaining three-point contact. Can you explain what happened? Worker. I was carrying tools. HSE officer. Thank you. Let us find a safer method for transporting those tools before continuing. Narrator coaching note. Correct behavior, not character. Scenario 3. Supervisor briefing. HSE officer. Good morning, supervisor. During today's inspection, we identified 3 priority concerns: scaffold access, housekeeping around the laydown area, and incomplete barricading near excavation works. Corrective actions have been assigned, and follow-up verification will occur at 1,400 hours. Narrator coaching note. Be concise. Provide facts. Recommend actions. Avoid emotional language. Quick quiz. Question 1. What is visible leadership? Answer. demonstrating safety commitment through actions that workers can observe. Explanation. ISO 45001 Clause 5.1 emphasizes leadership and commitment through visible participation and example setting. Question 2. What is active listening? Answer. Listening carefully, clarifying information, and confirming understanding. Explanation. IOSH principles recognize active listening as a key communication competency for preventing misunderstandings. Question 3. What is the difference between assertiveness and aggression? Answer. Assertiveness communicates expectations respectfully and clearly. Aggression relies on intimidation or hostility. Explanation. Professional HSE leadership requires assertive communication to maintain credibility and cooperation. Deliver this section slowly and conversationally. Use personal experiences where possible. Encourage discussion. Ask learners to identify examples of good and poor leadership they have observed on site. Leadership concepts become more meaningful when connected to real workplace experiences. End of Part 1. Opening plus Section 1.